Sir Marcos, peace na tayo, sir. Naintindihan ko na yung pangyayari.
Meron pong nabanggit po dito na aligasyon regarding po na yung 4 million pesos na hiningi daw po ninyo.
Sa Senate hearing po, ang sabi niya 3 million. Ngayon, ang sabi niya 4 million. The murder case filed against us to the death of his father and Raul Yap, we were all acquitted by the court. Most of his statement na sinabi niya kanina, marami po doon hindi totoo.
This Marvin Marcos that you mentioned is the same Colonel Marcos that you pointed out earlier. Is that correct, Mr. Chair?
Yes po.
Okay. Mr. Chair, before I proceed to questions for Mr. Marcos, for Colonel Marcos, I'd just like to reiterate po yung aking nakikita dito sa affidavit ni Mr. Espinosa. It would seem that these are very heavy allegations, but it generally can be run down into two, especially in relation to investigation of the Quadcom. Una po, nakikita natin isang operational modus nila regarding if ever it is proven to be true, of course. We still have to take into consideration that there was a recanting. So hindi pa naman tayo sigurado versus yung other oath niya, other statements under oath niya. But it seems to be that first there's an allegation, heavy allegations regarding the conducting of the extrajudicial killings, if it can be categorized as such, in relation to the father of Mr. Espinosa. Dahil po nakikita natin na isama siya po sa narco list, nag-operate po yung police, and it resulted in death. I don't know if this is part of their modus, but if he could be considered a high-value target, which is the second component ng yung Oplan double barrel. But here we see how the narco list plays into the operation of the PNP. But on the second, and I think is more pressing, if it is proven true po yung testimony ni Mr. Espinosa that he was only forced to give that testimony in the Senate, there seems to be a use of resource persons for political gain or political testimony. Kasi po, I'm not sure, pero Mr. Espinosa, may kinalaman po ba yung raid sa bahay ng yung father or even the killing of your father dun sa ginawang pilit sa'yo na gumawa ng affidavit sa Senado?
Pwede mo ba, Mr. Chair, pwede bang ipaulit ang...
Mr. Chair, I will rephrase.
Tanong.
Opo, kasi po, sa iyong sinumpaang salaysay, dalawa pong nakikita natin. Una, yung portion po relating to sa pagpatay ng iyong father, which is in relation po to sa EJK. Tapos yung second naman po is in relation po yung pagpilit sa'yo na magtestigo sa Senado. Yung itong dalawang incidents ito, related po ba sila? Sa tingin niyo po, ang nangyari sa iyong father, yung pag-raid sa bahay, yung pagpatay sa kanya, yung search warrant, ito po ay part ng modus para ikaw ay pilitin sa Senado? Or separate naman po to as part of EJK?
Siguro sa aking sariling pag-intindi, related po.
Related po. So tingin niyo po, ang ginawa po sa inyong tatay ay related na para takutin po kayo?
Opo, sa aking sariling pagkaintindi.
Pero yung nabanggit po ninyo dito sa affidavit, na-mention mo po kasi sa paragraph 23, na ang totoo lang doon ay binanggit ko na humingi si Marvin Marcos ng 4 million sa papa ko. Is this part siguro po ng motive ng nangyari po doon sa iyong tatay?
Hindi siguro. Hindi
Coincidence lang po yun.
Baka ang nangyari sa papa ko, parang sa mga operatives may nasa likod or nagbigay ng instruction sa kanila na ito ang gawin mo. Hindi ito ang motive ng yung pagbigay ng 4 million kay kay Sir Marcos.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I'll now be directing my questions to Colonel Marcos. Of course, Colonel Marcos, meron pong nabanggit po dito na aligasyon regarding po na yung 4 million pesos na hiningi daw po ninyo kay former Mayor Espinosa. Mr. Chair, do you confirm or deny this allegation?
Morning po ulit. Hapon na ba? First of all, sir, pertaining po sa sinasabi po ni Kerwin tungkol po sa 4 million, sa Senate hearing po, ang sabi niya 3 million. Ngayon, ang sabi niya 4 million. Tapos sabi daw ng tatay niya. So he has no personal knowledge. I've already denied this several times, even in the Senate. During the time of his accusation, or yung sinasabi niya, siguro sinasabi niya yan kasi galit siya sa akin. Sabi ko, dahil sa nangyari sa tatay niya. Normal po na reaksyon ng isang tao. Pero para tumanggap po ako ng ganung klaking pera galing sa kanya, sabi pa niya, campaign period. Nasa Albuera po ako, election na week na po. Tapos na ang campaign period. Hindi naman ako, sabi ko, during that time, I was only the Deputy Provincial Director of Leyte PPO. Handling administrative matters. I was deployed in Albuera for election purposes to supervise only the 4th District because it was considered as a hotspot. Hindi ko kailangan manduhan ang mga pulis doon o ano pa man. Hindi naman ako provincial director, hindi ako regional director, hindi rin ako operatiba ng illegal drugs para proteksyonan siya on something that I will ask for exchange for money. And I want also to straight, sir, Mr. Chair, on the record, ulitin ko po, the murder case filed against us to the death of his father and Raul Yap, we were all acquitted by the court. We were,
Mr. Chair?
we were nabigyan ng hustisya yung mga akusasyon sa amin. Ngayon, sir, itong raid na 11 kilos.
Mr. Chair.
It was for...
Point of order.
What is the point of order, Congressman Akop?
The resource person is not answering appropriately the question of the Honorable Rodriguez. I think we should remind the resource person to answer directly the question of the Honorable Congressman. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Congressman Akop. Colonel Marcos, please answer the questions asked by Congressman Gutierrez.
Mr. Chair, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Although I believe Colonel Marcos did answer yung allegations sa 4 million, it's just that he went on to discuss other things. But I hope the good Colonel could understand that we have a line of questioning and it's one topic, one answer lang naman po. No?
Yes,
we will proceed with the raid po siguro at a later time.
Yes, sir. Yes, Mr. Chair. His statement is not true.
Not true.
Most of his statement na sinabi niya kanina, marami po doon hindi totoo.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, follow-up question on that. But did your wife run for office at the time, Mr. Chair?
Colonel Marcos, can you please answer the question?
Yes, Mr. Chair, sorry, a follow-up question, Colonel.
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
If you're, just to confirm na yung asawa niyo po ay tumakbo as alleged na
Yes, during that
kandidato
time
po.
on 2016, she ran for Vice Mayor of Pastrana, Leyte, pero she lost in the election.
Thank you,
Natalo
Mr.
po.
Chair. Mr. Chair, some questions naman po, Colonel Marcos. And siguro from this point on, you'll be able to explain your side po na binabanggit po ninyo. Because I agree with Congresswoman Luistro. Generally, yung testimony po ni Mr. Espinosa would be shaded with doubt kasi po this is based on, this is a recanting of a previous testimony under oath, previously affidavit, sworn under oath. However, what draws our attention is that it is surrounded by apparent irregularities, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I mentioned this because one glaring thing that we've seen is yung the circumstances surrounding the death of the former Mayor Espinosa. So in relation to that, I have some follow-up questions. Mr. Chair, at the time si Colonel Marcos, kayo po ay CIDG, hepe ng CIDG for Region 8. Tama po ba?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, ano po yung inyong katungkulan bilang chief ng CIDG 8?
Way back 2016, during the raid in Baybay City Jail, I was the regional chief of Region 8, sir.
Regional chief po kayo?
Yes,
Region 8
po.
po
Ng
tayo.
CIDG po.
Of CIDG. Mr. Chair, so in relation po yung sa kaso ng former mayor, if ever, kasi I believe the case that was, if correct, Ano po yung kaso that became basis for the issuance of the search warrant?
Kaya po kami nag-apply ng search warrant dyan because during the raid of Colonel Espinido, in which they were able to recover 11 kilos of shabu and several firearms. Not only firearms but bank documents involving 5.1 billion pesos in current account and another intact money of a fake corporation by his family named Blue Oceanic Corporation, found out by AMLA, amounting to 5.1 billion. This was pronounced by the former president. Na-check po ito, na positive yung pera na yan. Yung sinasabi niya magpapakatotoo siya, ba't hindi niya sa uli ang pera na yan? Ang dami niyang biktima.
Mr. Chair?
Then, the issuance po yung search warrant, kasi si Espinido po ang nag-raid pero joined kami as investigation team. So we were the one who filed the case, kaya po lumabas ang warrant of arrest ni Mayor Espinosa at saka po ni Kerwin Espinosa. And during the issuance of warrant of arrest, hindi po si Judge Cabaluna ang nag-issue ng search warrant. Mali po yung sinasabi niya. Ang nag-issue ng search warrant, judge po ng Samar, si Judge Sabari. Katapos, I'm stating here statements based on records and public records. Sa warrant of arrest na issue, Major Laraga filed application for search warrant because of an valid information that there were continuous of drug trade inside the Baybay City Jail. And some of the jail guards are involved.
Sige, Colonel Marcos.
Yung po ang dahilan bakit po kami nag-apply ng search warrant. Kaya po namin in-implement yon. At saka yung sinasabi niya nag-face the wall, hindi po kami pinapapasok sa jail. Kaya po namin ni-restraint yung mga jail guard doon kasi they were armed. Armado po sila. Hindi kami pinapasok. We were forced to use bolt cutter, which is specified in the search warrant that we can break through if the search warrant issued by the judge is not honored.
Okay, sandali lang.
Yung po yung
sandali lang,
totoo
Colonel.
dyan.
Yes, Congressman Gutierrez, is that the reply to the question you asked, Colonel Marcos?
Mr. Chair, more than what I was seeking, but that's fine, Mr. Chair.
Yun nga,
Mr. Chair,
Colonel Marcos, bibigyan ka namin ng pagkakataon magsalita. Ang ginagawa natin
Yes, Your Honor.
ay yung tanong, yun lang muna sagutin mo. Okay? Para hindi
Yes,
ho
Your
tayo
Honor.
tumagal. Now, you have, please wrap up, Congressman Gutierrez.
Mr. Chair, yung katanungan ko po natin is kung ano po yung basis ng search warrant. I understand that there are a lot of preliminary facts that would establish any need. But for one, yung nabanggit po na AMLAC, I'm not sure if bank transactions would be covered by search warrant dun sa Leyte. But I understand eventually, nasagot naman ni Colonel Marcos na the reason that they needed a search warrant was some alleged irregularities within Baybay sub-provincial jail. Tama po ba?
Yes, inside the provincial jail. And we have also information that Mayor Espinosa was allowed to go out during nighttime by the jail warden.
Mr. Chair, but based on records po, yung violation that was made basis for the search warrant was violation of RA 10591 or the Comprehensive Firearms and Ammunition Regulation Act. Nabanggit po ninyo earlier that the basis was illegal drug trade. Which was which po kaya, Mr. Chair?
Pareho po, Mr. Chair. Mayroon pong information na continuous ang drug trade. Mayroon din pong information that they were may armas po na nandoon na hawak po yung si Raul Yap at saka si Mayor Espinosa. And hindi po totoong niyakap si Mayor Espinosa based on record.
Mr. Chair, again, I would like to ask for a point of order.
Yes, Congressman Acop.
May we ask the resource person to answer directly the question of the Honorable Gutierrez? Kasi yung sinasagot mo, Colonel Marcos, ay hindi na appropriate doon sa katanungan ni Honorable Gutierrez. Antayin mo na ako magtanong sa iyo.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, thank you for that point of order. And Mr. Chair, the issue nga po is that there seemed to be a disconnect. Although there might be an information for both illegal drug trade, and violations of the Comprehensive Firearms and Ammunition Regulation Act. As far as the records show, it's only based on the Comprehensive Firearms and Ammunition Regulation Act. So yung next question, Mr. Chair, if I would be
Yes,
with
please,
indulgence
your
to
last
wrap up.
question. Thank you.
Normal po ba na nagsuserve ng search warrant sa loob ng kulungan? If ever, since I'm wrapping up, Mr. I had more questions, Mr. Chair, but I'll probably reserve it for another round. Pero if Colonel Marcos could narrate to us any other instance in which a search warrant was issued against a jail in his watch. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Actually, sir, when we applied for the search warrant, there's no prohibition or any or OCA circular na nag-exist. We asked other judges kung may prohibition ba na mag-apply kami ng search warrant sa isang jail facility or any government facility. Wala naman daw po. So we tried applying and it was granted. Yun lang po. No other reasons po, sir.
Mr. Chair, yung second question ko po, have you ever sought or applied for a search warrant for a jail in any other circumstance?
Meron po yung sa Abuyog Penal Colony po, sir.
Mr. Chair, and what was the result of that application?
It was also granted, sir.
And the result of the operation, Mr. Chair?
We were able also to recover illegal drugs inside.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Given that my time is up, I will yield to other interpellators. Maraming salamat po, Colonel Marcos. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Congressman Gutierrez. The next to interpellate is Congressman Jay Kung Hoon. You have 10 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Espinosa, dito po. Yes. Mr. Espinosa, magandang hapon po sa inyo. Tama po ba yung narinig ko na nag-file po kayo ng COC for mayor ng Albuera Leyte?
Yes po. Mr. Chair.
Bakit niyo po naisipan na ngayon lumabas o magsabi ng katotohanan, lalong-lalo na rito sa Quadcom? Siyempre, panahon ng eleksyon ngayon. Baka naman po mamaya isipin na ginagawa niyo ito para sa election campaign o sa media mileage.
Ginagawa ko to na lumutang dito sa Quadcom kasi napanood ko marami nang lumutang na mga biktima sa EGK na marami nang naglakas na loob na isiniwalat ang mga hinanaing nila sa pangyayari ng patayan sa ating bansa, sa EGK. Yun ang nag-udyok sa akin kung bakit ako lumutang dito sa Quadcom. Walang halong politika po ito.
Okay, Mr. Espinosa, kasi gusto lang po nating siguraduhin na ang iyong motibo maayos at nararapat.
Ang hangad ko at ang purpose ng aking paglutang dito, hindi politika, kundi ang hustisya na makamit naming pamilya sa aming ama na pinatay na parang hayop.
Mr. Espinosa, bakit naman po parang ang sobrang malas po ninyo ng inyong pamilya? Ano po ba ang naging motibo para ilagay ang inyong pangalan ng iyong ama at ikaw sa listahan?
Kasi hindi po kami supporter ni Presidente Duterte nung kapanahunan na tumakbo ang papa ko.
Tingin mo yun ang naging dahilan, Mr. Chair?
Sa tingin ko, yun ang dahilan. Kasi maraming mga biktima na hindi supporters niya, ganon din ang nangyari.
Mr. Chair, may nabanggit ka na abogado ng tatay nyo nung humingi siya ng tulong dahil nasama siya sa listahan ng dating Pangulong Presidente Duterte. Sabi nyo, kinonsulta ninyo ay isang Attorney John Ungab. Tama po ba?
Tama po.
Ito po ba yung Attorney John Ungab na pinatay noong February 20, 2018?
Saan napatay po? Sa Cebu. Sa Cebu po.
Pinatay po ba ito?
Yan po. Tama po yan.
At yung piskal na si Mary Ann Castro, siya rin ba yung Mary Ann Castro na pinatay noong January 17, 2019?
Opo.
Okay, thank you.
Lahat ng tumulong sa amin, pinapatay. Pati si Attorney Bato, may isa pa na abogado na pinatay din sa
Sino-
Tacloban.
Sinong attorney ba to ito?
Ay,
Kasi baka mamaya magkaroon tayo ng confusion eh.
Rogelio Bato. Family name niya ay Bato. Pinatay din sa Tacloban.
Sino tingin mo nagpapatay sa kanya?
Siguro mga nasa matataas na pwesto yun.
Okay.
Kasi ipinagtanggol ang karapatan namin. Gusto nilang wala sigurong magtanggol sa amin. Kaya lahat ng tumulong sa amin, patay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, pwede po ba akong magtanong sa Commission on Human Rights, Mr. Chair?
Please proceed.
Sa Commission on Human Rights, meron bang mga na-file sa inyong kaso na sa EJK noong panahon ng drug war sa inyong komisyon?
Assalamualaikum po, Honorable Chairman, and to the honorable members of the committee. Yes, Your Honor, there were EJK cases filed before the Commission on Human Rights, 2016 to 2022.
Pwede po bang makahingi ng description ng mga kasong na-file sa inyo regarding sa EJK?
Yes, Your Honor. Noong nakaraang commission po, Commission on Bank 5th, meron pong inilabas ang komisyon na report on investigated killings in relation to the illegal drug campaign. Nilabas po ito noong April 2022 ng huling komisyon ng Commission on Human Rights. Ang mga datos po, base po sa records namin, Your Honor, ay, allow me to check my file, sir. Mula noong July 1, 2016 to June 30, 2022, meron po kaming kaso na naitala o na-file sa Commission on Human Rights na may total na 3,937 cases of EJK-related incidents. Ang number of victims po sa mga kasong ito, drug-related cases rather, Your Honor, number of cases again is 3,937. Ang number po ng biktima ay 4,575. Ang mga lalaking biktima po ay 4,453. Ang babaeng biktima po ay 122. May mga kabataan din po, 29, no? Minor de edad. Base rin po sa aming datos sa mga cases na na-file nung panahon na iyon, ang killed in law enforcement operations ay 2,233 at yung unidentified assailants ay 1,704 po, Your Honor.
If I may, just a short
Okay.
follow-up question dun sa tinong ni ano. Doon ho sa mga na-file ng kaso, Commissioner, ilan ho ang membro ng PNP?
Ito po, Your Honor, yung datos po namin, allow me to clarify respectfully, Your Honor. Ito po ay final po ng mga biktima or motu proprio nung nakaraang komisyon. Wala po kaming exact na datos, but we can allow us to submit later on kung ilan po yung mga na-involve na security officials or officers that are accused. Iba-iba pong personalidad, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Madam Dumarpa, ano po ang naging aksyon ng ng komisyon relating sa EJK report na iyong mga binanggit? Ano yung naging resulta ng inyong aksyon?
Honorable Chair, nung nilabas po ito noong Abril 2022, ang report na po ito ay nakarating sa lahat ng concerned government offices kasi kasama po sa report na ito ang mga rekomendasyon doon sa mga affected government offices.
Ano yung mga naging recommendation ninyo?
if you will allow me, Your Honor, I will read from the report itself. Recommendations, one, medyo mahaba-haba lang po, but if...
Yung gist na lang ng ano.
Yes, Your Honor. We have recommendations to the Office of the President. Meron din pong naging recommendation ang komisyon to the Philippine National Police. Meron din pong naging rekomendasyon patungkol sa DILG or Department of Interior and Local Government. Nagkaroon din po ng rekomendasyon patungkol sa Department of Justice.
Ano yung naging rekomendasyon ninyo? In gist lang, ano yung naging rekomendasyon ninyo?
In general, Your Honor, the recommendation was, if I may read from the executive summary of the report in 2022. Overall, the CHR finds that the government has failed in its obligation to respect and protect the human rights of every citizen, in particular victims of drug-related killings. It has encouraged a culture of impunity that shields perpetrators from being held to account. It must be emphasized that the CHR supports campaigns to combat the effects and proliferation of dangerous drugs. But it reminds the state that such measures must be coupled with a strong drive to promote due process, equal protection, full accountability, and the rule of law, thus fulfilling its fundamental duty to uphold the rights and dignity of all, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Now, Mr. Chair, pwede po bang lumipat ako kay Colonel Marcos, Mr. Chair?
Please proceed.
Colonel Marcos, kailan po kayo naging pulis?
Mr. Chair, May 2, 1990. Oh no, I was a cadet May 2, 1994, but I became a police inspector in April 1996.
Ano po ang rank nyo ngayon?
I'm a full colonel, sir. Police colonel.
Noong naging pulis po kayo, saan kayo unang na-assign?
My first assignment was the Presidential Security Group, sir, in Malacanang, on the time of President Ramos.
Paano kayo napadpad bilang head ng CIDG?
I was assigned in CIDG or reassigned in CIDG on 2016, July.
Kayo po ay nailipat lamang sa CIDG Region 8 noong July 2016 sa utos ni Chief PNP Bato de la Rosa, tama po ba?
Not presumptively, sir, because he was the Chief PNP, but the orders was issued by DPRM.
At kayo po ay na-assign doon bilang isang malaking grupo mula sa inyong dating assignment, tama po ba?
No, siguro, Mr. Chair, because I cannot categorize yung malaking grupo po.
Pero alam nyo ba kung ba't kayo na-assign sa CIDG 8?
Ang nangyari po noon, I was assigned in Leyte PRO 8, Police Regional Office 8, in Leyte PPO. Then, on July 16, 2016, nangingi po ako ng tulong sa provincial director ko. Sabi ko, sir, para naman ako maka-experience ng ibang assignment, at the same time, nag-signify ako na ma-assign ng CIDG. Kaya po ako na-issue ng order papuntang CIDG headquarters.
Sino nagrekomenda sa inyo para maging pinuno ng CIDG 8? Meron po ba nagrekomenda sa inyo?
Wala naman po, sir. Pero during that time, marami pong vacant position yung regional chief ng CIDG because some of my upper class already moved for higher position. Kaya nung nabakante po yung regional chief ng 8, nasakto po, sir, na na-assign ako doon, ako po ang na-designate. Nung dumating din po ako ng Region 8, wala na pong regional chief doon na nag-turnover pa or nandun pa siya para palitan ko.
Bilang CIDG 8 po, ano po ang inyong katungkulan?
Bali, ako po yung regional chief ng CIDG 8 po.
Ano po yun yung trabaho?
My work was to supervise the provincial offices ng Regional Field Unit 8. Mayroon po akong field unit sa all parts of the provinces of Samar to include Leyte, sir. Leyte and Southern Leyte, including Tacloban City.
Okay. Nung naupo po kayong CIDG chief, kayo po ay na-dismiss ilang buwan lamang pagkatapos ninyo malipat sa CIDG 8 matapos ang involvement ninyo sa pagpatay kay Alberta Leyte Mayor Rolando Espinosa at drug suspect na si Raul Yap. Tama po ba?
Yes, sir. It was part of the procedure of the PNP. If you are under investigation, you will be put in the holding center to pave way to the investigation.
At kanina sinabi niyo po na nagsiserve kayo ng warrant, no, kay Mayor Espinosa dahil sa di umano'y violation niya sa Comprehensive Firearms and Ammunition Regulation Act. Tama po ba ito?
Tama po, sir.
Paano nagkaroon si Mayor Espinosa ng violation sa batas na ito habang nakakulong siya sa loob ng kulungan?
The Espinosa Group, sir, was monitored as their illegal trade since my knowledge in 2015 pa po. Kasama po sila sa drug list ng PRO 8. Nung nasa personnel pa po ako naka-assign. Hindi pa po ako na-assign ng CIDG. Nandun na po sila. They were already monitored. Pero nung during that time na nakakulong na po siya because virtue of warrant of arrest na wala pong bail, they continue their drug trade. We keep on monitoring. Hindi man po ang trabaho po ng PNP, hindi pwede porque nakakulong na po yung tao na involved sa drugs, is we stop monitoring.
Okay. Normal po ba na nagsiserve ng warrant of arrest sa kulungan?
Mr. Chair, I cannot answer a definite yes or no on that because ang trabaho lang po ng police is mag-apply po ng search warrant. Pag pin-approve po ng judge, i-implement po namin.
Hindi, tinatanong ko nga po kayo. Normal po ba na nagsiserve ng search warrant sa loob ng kulungan? Yes or no po? Normal po ba ito?
If there is a compelling reason, sir, yes. So that the time that we applied, yes, sir.
So meron kayong mga nabalitaan na ginawang ganito ang kapulisan sa ibang lugar?
Mayroon na po mga nabanggit, sir. Mayroon din nga po sa MPD, sariling opisina ng Manila Police, in-applyan ng search warrant.
Okay. Alam niyo po ba kung anong batas o regulasyon na nagsasabi na kailangan mag-issue ng search warrant sa kulungan? Meron bang batas na ito?
Wala po ako nalalaman, sir.
Wala kayo nalalaman.
Opo, sir.
Familiar po ba kayo sa mga search warrants?
Yes po. We have applied several search warrants already, sir.
Ang search warrant po ay mahalaga sa due process ng isang tao dahil sinisiguro nito na limited lang ang search na nakalagay sa warrant ay walang abusong magaganap sa mga tao o subject, di po ba?
Tama po, sir.
Naniniwala po ba kayo na kailangan ng search warrant para sa isang nasa loob ng kulungan na kahit wala naman talaga silang tinatawag na expectation of privacy?
If there is a compelling reason as we justified to the judge so that the search warrant will be approved, yun po ang ginawa namin, sir.
Hindi po ba meron namang regular inspection na ginagawa sa loob ng kulungan as a matter of procedure para i-check ang mga gamit na nakakulong kung may mga illegal na bagay silang ginagawa sa loob ng kulungan?
Normal po yun sa isang jail facility. Trabaho po nila yun, sir.
So bakit kayo kailangan na mag-serve ng search warrant kung meron naman pala ganun?
Because we have a reason to believe that already the jail guards, some of the jail guards were already involved.
So meron mga report sa inyo na yung jail guards ay involved sa illegal na gawain?
Yes, sir.
I have no further question, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you, Congressman Kong Hun. Next to interpolate is Congressman Dan Fernandez, you have 2 minutes. I'm sorry, 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Maigli na naman ako magtanong, Mr. Chairman. Actually, wala naman akong itatanong masyado. But of course, may mga worries lang ako sa mga testimony ni Kerwin Espinosa. Considering that he testified in the Senate and now he's testifying in the House of Representatives. And then basically, Kerwin, you are testifying now under oath that yung mga sinabi mo sa Senado, some of those were not true because you were under duress. Am I correct?
Yes po, Mr. Chair.
And including on those testimonies, if I'm not mistaken, a while ago, I was able to find out kay Colonel Marcos that in the Senate, you mentioned 3 million and here you mentioned 4 million. Is that correct?
Ang sinabi ko sa Senate, 4 million.
Hindi 3 million.
Hindi.
So,
Hindi po, Mr.
Colonel
Chair.
Marcos is lying. Wait, Colonel Marcos is lying.
Opo.
So, Colonel Marcos, you are under oath. You are lying under oath in here.
Yes, sir. I have a record here on the Senate proceedings. Nakasave po sa cellphone ko. Ang sinabi niya, 3 million. Dalawang 1.5 million. Hindi po ako nagsisinungaling, Mr. Chair.
Will you confirm that, Kerwin?
Basta ang sinabi ko sa Senado, 4 million.
Can you kindly submit that to us? Para at least to test the credibility
Nandito
of all
po, sir.
those. What we wanted to find out in here is that we want to test the credibility of all the resource persons that we are inviting. We are not telling you, Kerwin, that the totality of your affidavit is wrong right now in here. But we wanted to find out the veracity of all those statements that you have mentioned. Because the credibility of this Quadcom is at stake in here. And that's the reason why we wanted to know yung validity ng lahat ng sinasabi mo. Considering also that you have filed your certificate of candidacy to run for the mayor of Albuera. Di ba?
Opo, Mr. Chair.
And at the same time, the reason why you appear in this hearing is to seek justice.
Yes po, exactly.
What is your priority? What is your priority? Running as a mayor or seeking the truth for your father?
Hustisya po para sa papa ko. Kaya kong talikuran yang
Ng
politika.
So in other words, in seeking the truth and to prioritize in finding out the truth about the death of your father, you're willing to not to run anymore.
Yes po.
So, are you willing to withdraw your
I am willing to withdraw.
sa paglaban mo ng mayor?
Opo.
Because hindi mo kami masisisi dito, Kerwin, kung mag-iisip kami na may halong politika ang lahat ng ginagawa mo. And that's the reason why ako very what you call this, medyo adamant ako sa intention mo on going in here. But most likely, if you're going to tell us that you're going to withdraw yung iyong paglaban sa mayor, somehow baka ako mismo maniwala ako sa mga sinasabi mo. But that will be based on all the answers that you will be giving us on the questions that I'll be asking. Okay. Kanina, tinanong na natin yun, no? So mamaya malalaman natin yung veracity ng sinasabi ni Colonel Marcos. Meron kang na-dismiss na mga kaso sa drugs, ano? Yung 2 drug cases mo, the reason for the dismissal, demurrer to evidence. Am I correct?
Yes po.
At yung kaso mo sa money laundering cases filed against you, meron, di ba?
Meron po akong kaso sa AMLA. At ang sinabi na 5 billion,
Yes.
kahit itanong po sa AMLA, walang ganong pera.
So may pros and assets ka ba?
Ha?
May na-freeze na asset during the course of the investigation? Kasi you are under investigation on the money laundering. So, may na-freeze bang asset sa iyo?
Meron po.
How much?
Walang cash. Mga property lang po.
What is the worth of the properties that was frozen?
Properties, land at
How-
bahay. at sasakyan lang po.
So, gaano kalaki yung lupa?
Hindi gaano kalaki. Tulad ng mga siguro may 2 hectares at tapos may mga negosyo naka-freeze yung tinatayo sana namin na gasolinahan sa lungsod namin na freeze dahil sa AMLAC at yung hotel ng papa ko.
Okay. Hindi gano'ng kalakihan yung mga lote na na-freeze.
Opo.
And even
Kasi wala po akong lote na malaki.
wala kang lote na malaki. At yung company na sinasabi ni Colonel Marcos a while ago, na merong mga dummy na under a certain corporation, you deny it.
Wala pong katotohanan yan.
Sige, AMLA.
Mr. Chair.
Salamat, Kerwin. Andito ang AMLA, di ba? AMLA, please. Okay, AMLA. So, there is a pending case doon sa sa money laundering.
That's correct, sir. Both civil and criminal cases against Kerwin Espinosa.
So, doon sa sinabi ni Kerwin Espinosa, will you concur to the statement that he delivered?
That is correct, sir. There was a freeze order issued against Mr. Espinosa, and there were also criminal cases filed against him.
Gaano kalaki yung mga properties, assets, and everything?
May I be allowed to verify first, Your Honor, to check my records?
So, hindi nyo pa alam?
I will have to check the records,
O sige,
Your Honor.
kanina may sinasabi si Colonel Marcos about the 5.1 billion. Saan nakuha ni Colonel Marcos yun? Sabi niya kanina sa inyo.
Sir, may I be allowed to check the records first? I'm not the one personally handling the Espinosa case, Your Honor.
Can you kindly call your boss and tell us in a while? Dahil ito naman po ay very important matter that need to be verified for us to find out the personality of Kerwin Espinosa, no? If he is lying or not, or Colonel Marcos is lying. Kasi kung si Colonel Marcos ang nagsisinungaling dito, we will be citing him in contempt. So, now, tanong tayo sa pakitawag po, no? Ha, sir?
Mr. Chairman, with the indulgence of
Okay, go ahead.
Chairman Dan, can you do it before the end of this hearing? Kasi napaka-sensitive po yung accusation ni Colonel Marcos to Kerwin. 5.1 billion. So, kaya nga, the question now is, Kerwin denies it, and Colonel Marcos is telling this committee that in his information, there is a 5.1 billion, which is under freeze order of AMLAC. So better produce the exact amount of the documents before the hearing ends. Please.
We'll provide the answer within the day, Your Honor.
Thank you.